There we are. What has happened since Monday? What has been the process? What has happened? Think about who you were on Monday and who you are today. And if you continue this process, who will you be in a month, in a year? We're always going, we're moving forward, and there's going to be new dips to go through, but don't panic, don't worry, because when those things happen, you've got tools in your toolkit now that you pull out. You remember that you're brave. You remember that you can show up for hard things. You can say, this is hard, but I can do hard things. So this is really good. Guys, I'm not going to steal any more thunder. Ashley, I love this. You were in despair, but you feel hope and clarity and empowered. Oh, Ashley, if you feel that way, then this has been worth it. All this time, all this, giving of ourselves to you for the week for free. We do it joyfully, but when I hear that tells me, wow, this has been worth it. Because if just one of you came away from this going, wow, I feel like I could take on the world. Boom, that's enough for me. I don't know about you, Fiona. That is enough for me. Kristen's here. So worth it. Yeah, you are beautiful people. Well, today I have two guests. I'm so excited. Fiona is one of our coaches. She is from my favorite city on the planet. She is from Vancouver, BC. Why do I live in Calgary? Because I hate winter and I hate snow. And guess what's coming? It's coming, and it's not going to end until June. So anyways, Fiona, you're where I want to be. I love you. She is an amazing, amazing person. She works in early childhood education. She's worked with parents. She's worked with little kids all the way up to grade 6. She is a phenomenal girl, and she is going to share with you some of her amazing findings and her story. And so Fiona, take it away.
Thanks, Connie. Good morning, everybody. It was nice to see everyone at the little meet and greet last night, because I can kind of put faces to names now. So you're not just names on my screen, which is encouraging. But very, very happy to be here. Very honored to be part of the Brave Parents Institute with Connie and the team. There's just so much that everyone's experienced, and we all have a story to tell, and sometimes we don't really know where to start. And so being on this team, being able to explore that with people, it's just something that I could never imagine. So thank you for having me here. Today we're going to talk about rising through the storm and what that looks like in my life. So if you want to imagine, the kind of storms that are in your life or that you're currently facing, for me it was kind of like, if I think about it, a hurricane, just like mass destruction, just constantly swirling around me. And from my teens up to my adult life, they would have these periods of little bits of reprieve. And I'm like, you know what, I conquered it. I'm great. I'm good. I'm stronger. And, however many years later, I realized, no, that was kind of just the eyes of my storm. And the reason for that is because I never quite dealt with what was going on. I found ways to cope. And the ways that I coped, I thought, that's me dealing with it. That's me solving it. And it never really sunk home until my last bout of anxiety, where little bit background story. I've been working in childcare for about 10 years now. I've managed for most of my career daycares, children from 0 to 13, and there's working with parents that were going through their storms. And so it became very methodical for me, right? If someone had brought me, this is my challenge in my life, my child is reacting this way, I'm not quite sure why, a lot of the things I get is kind of like the sibling syndrome. I've just had a baby, my child was talking so much and now they won't talk to me. And I can't even get them to connect. And a lot of parents kind of fraught over that because they felt guilty already having another baby, and now their first child is disconnecting. And so dealing with that and giving them kind of these steps to take and try, it was second nature to me. And when I was hit with crisis, I was like, no problem, I know what to do, but it was not the same case. And so that was kind of my storm for a long part of my life. When that happened, people didn't really know how to relate to me, I suppose, that my immediate group. And in that storm of mine, my father passed away as well. And, people who've experienced loss, that people who haven't, it's hard to relate. They want to and they want to sympathize, but it's not the same as when you're in that pit and there is a gouge in you and you don't know how to fill it and you don't know how to explain it. It just feels. And so a lot of people didn't really know how to relate to me. So I felt really alone, really hopeless, and found ways to self-medicate, get through the night, dipped into depression again and suicidal thoughts, and really took me down a really dark path where I questioned what's the point of life. And so being pregnant and where my parenting journey comes out of this is that I had to navigate being pregnant and being a new mom under this expectation of, I'm an educator, I know what I'm doing, gotta help my husband, gotta help my family, and all while all that turmoil was in my head. And so I remember one time when we were coming home from the hospital and I'm like, I got this, like all we got to do is she needs to be sleep trained and she's a newborn. So if you know sleep training, you're like, but I was like, we're just got to put her down. I'm going to do this. And the first night, me and my husband are both up and we were just yelling at each other because we're like, she's not sleeping. And I'm like, do this. And he's going, I'm trying. And it was really an eye opener for me going, take a moment, take a beat. You don't really know what you're doing, and that's okay. It didn't dawn on me in the moment, but that is kind of how I felt. And so fast forward about 6 months later, we were sleeping training her at this time, and I had suggested to my husband, here's like a step I've seen in childcare, and we've seen this work, so why don't we try this? And it was kind of like a gradual entry of like, put her down, let her cry, but I'll be right next to her so she doesn't feel alone, but she knows she needs to try. And so, everywhere you read on the internet, it's like, let your husband do it. He'll figure it out. He's less connected. And so I was like, great, I don't have to deal with this. Sent him in and he was a wreck. I have never seen him so emotional. And, my husband's he's a solid guy. So he's just like, doesn't really show emotion. So I'm like, okay, I'll switch. I'll put on my teacher pants and I can do this. And so I went in. Lo and behold, I was able to settle her. In about 20 minutes, she cried, but I was there and I reassured her. And then she fell asleep. And then we did this for 3 days and she was golden. But what came out of that, you think that's a really great positive story. What came out of that was this realization, and this is where it started for me, this ritual. If I just wrap her the right way, if I just lay her down the right way, if I just say the same things every single time, it equals positivity. It's gonna work. And so I was in my safety net. And so for a while, yeah, it worked. But as we know, children develop so quickly. When she developed out of that stage and she was trying to test again, I was like, what's wrong? And just all my walls of safety just broke down. I would Google, like if you ask me, I'm Dr. Google. I would talk to every pregnant or postpartum mom I knew, and I would just beat it to death. And my husband was tired of me asking. I was trying to find out reasons why. So that's kind of where I wanted to take us today was, where in your life have you created control for situations that you're looking for a solution? And you know what? That's okay. We're human. We need to control in however way we manage. But sometimes those controls are not the end game. They're just helping us along, and that's okay, right? And so that's something that I had to reflect on after, but in the midst of it, it was hard. So as I was doing this, I realized also that, and maybe some of you relate, that I was kind of the provider. And maybe most parents usually are, right? I feed them, take care of them, give them as much emotional support as I can, clean the house, do the laundry. So I'm a doer. I do and do and do. And I'm like, that's enough. They're going to love me. And I feel good about myself. And I remember this moment. I know Connie said one story, but I'm going to do little vignettes and I promise I'll be in time. But I was sitting on my bed and my husband had gone back to work and she was only about 3 months old. And I was just kind of like a rabbit around a field of carrots. Like I was just picking things up and doing whatever I need to do. And he's like, he has to work. So I'm like, oh, I got to hold her and not do anything. And that really frustrated me because I just wanted to move. And so I was holding her and I kind of looked at her and I kind of broke down because in that moment, after 3 months, and I'm not sure who can relate, but I had actually not connected with her emotionally. And I said to my husband countless times, I'm like, she doesn't really feel like mine. And every time I said that, it was guilt. But that's how I felt. I felt like I was taking care of a child in a daycare and I was providing because I know how to do that as per my job. And so 3 months later, I'm sitting there and I'm not able to do anything because she wants to be held. And then I looked at her and I broke down. I started crying. And I said to her, for the first time I really felt it, I was like, I love you. I know you now. I love you. And then suddenly, so much guilt. I'm like, what do you mean you love her now? You know, you've been with her for this long. And so I was apologizing to my 3-month-old baby. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I really love you. You know, I do all these things, but I love you. And I was broken in that moment as a parent. And the teacher side of me kind of fell away, and I was just a parent. And I was like, wow, is this the wave of emotion everyone's feeling? And I suddenly felt it. And that was quite interesting in terms of the realization, because you know, you look on Instagram, and that's kind of where I started with this advocacy to want to be a support to parents. You look on Instagram and everyone looks great. Everyone has a really nice living room. The colors are always so neutral and perfect, and the baby's so happy. And I really felt pressured by that, especially knowing, like, if my baby was crying for a reason, I could reason it psychologically because I have training for that. But it didn't make me feel any different until I connected with her. And so what that did for me was it made me kind of stop and question why I was doing what I was doing. As a parent, why am I here? What am I trying to accomplish every day? Am I trying to have the cleanest house there is? Or am I trying to be a mom to my baby, a wife to my husband? And so all of that kind of combined, it took me to this point of letting go a little bit, you know, realizing that, okay, my control is important because that helps me focus and it helps me move on, right? If I was just this huge mess of a storm and my children or my child and my parent, my husband, didn't have someone to support them, then that would also be a problem. But so we find little ways to find this control in our lives. And so when we're talking about what advice do we want to give? What kind of action do I want you to take? You know, coming out of this, it's that. It's where in your life have you created, you know, for lack of better words, a ritual, you know? And it doesn't have to be around things like putting your baby to sleep. It could be things like when your child fights with you, when he doesn't want to go to school or he doesn't want to eat his breakfast, if she doesn't want to put on her clothes, whatever it may be, whatever your go-to is, it can be healthy or unhealthy, we're not judging, but it's a ritual, right? And that's okay. But I want you to identify it. And then I want you to think about, where does that bring you comfort or safety? Because the reason I want to focus on this part of my story is because I had that false security of like, it's great, I'm solid again, you know, through my anxiety. If you've been through anxiety, you know that unstable footing you're on. And I'm like, I got it, I finally figured it out. And as soon as she changed and something changed, I was like, oh, I'm lost again. And I was just in a pit. And that's what we want to work out of. We don't want you guys to find something fantastic. Here's a week long of tools. Find it fantastic. It works for a couple of days, then you crash and you're like, that was useless. You know, it's kind of, you need to put yourself in this space where, how do I make this permanent? So find that thing in your life, the little thing in your life, and then try and break it apart. And if you're brave enough, then yeah, post it out. We'd love to hear it. But what I want to leave you guys with is this little takeaway. And I kind of made like a little acronym out of the word RISE. So R is rest, right? As a parent, who can rest? I tried this yesterday, actually. Our daughter is going through a sleep regression, so no sleep at night. I am really grumpy during the day. And I could sleep. I found an hour I could sleep. And I could hear her playing, and my mind wouldn't shut off. So I put earphones in. I put on a sound maker, and then I covered my head with my blanket. And I was like, okay, for sure I could sleep. But I could still kind of hear murmurings, and so I couldn't rest. It's really hard as a parent to turn that off, but you need to rest. And do you know why you need to rest? Because I in RISE is, I am worth it. If you feel like you doing things for your family or you doing things for other people is what makes you worth it as a mom or as a person, those things make us better people, but it doesn't mean that makes you a good mom. If you were tired one day and you couldn't do laundry, it doesn't mean you're not a good mom or a dad, right? So you are worth it, so rest. S in RISE is for, you are strong. This is coming from a panel of people who've been broken, who've been in the dumps. But you know what? We look at you guys and we go, you're strong. I'm not saying that people who don't come on here and don't speak are not strong. No, but what I'm saying is that when you realize there's something in your life not working and you seek an answer for that, you are strong because you realize I can do better. I have an ability to do better. So I'm going to learn something and try to learn something to get bigger. And that's why you're strong. And where I want to leave you is in the end of Rise, E, just really simply, and for some reason this really makes me cry because inside of me I struggle a lot, but you are enough. You really are. You know, if you look in the mirror and you go, I don't know what it looks like to be worth it, and that's a question that recently I've been facing with, then you really got to take some time for yourself. Because just because you do all of this outward stuff for people, it doesn't mean that that's your worth. Your worth as a parent is how you feel about yourself, how you want to provide, but how are you going to get there? And that's by looking at your storms, going, this is just my ritual to be in control, and that's okay, but that doesn't signify how much I'm worth. It's a tool for me. You know, that does not define your life. If you can't get your child to eat well, if you can't get them to stop saying no, if you can't get them to stop fighting, it doesn't mean you failed. It just means you need to find a tool for it and then rise above. And that's kind of my story and where I want to leave you guys. I'm not quite sure how to transition out of this, Connie. Take it away, but yeah, that's what I got for you guys today.
Wow. Who's feeling that? Like, Fiona, I'm like so blessed, and I'm like tearing up because I just think that that was so beautiful that you would share that with us, be so honest with us, and what you've shared here with Rise, that's powerful. Like, I love it. And I love that you're coming from a place of authenticity and your experience. So good. The chat box is blowing up, Fiona. Fiona hasn't shared this very much. And so she blessed us today with her message. And I am so proud to have you as one of our coaches. I think that women and men are going to be so blessed by you because you know how to, you've been through the fire and you know how to lead people through the fire. That's a really, really beautiful thing. So thank you, Fiona. You're outstanding. And I love that, Rise. And I love the question, you know, where are you trying to control? I'm like, oh, hit me in the heart today, you know, and that was powerful. I loved it. Loved it. Well, and we have another story as well. We have some amazing parents in our community. So we have amazing coaches and we have amazing parents. And I met Cathie when we were both kind of going through the fire with both of our kids. So when my oldest was going through his crisis and I would post about it, she reached out to me, and we've just stayed in touch all these years. And now she's a part of our Brave Parent Institute, and she's actually a mentor. So one of the things that we really believe in with our Brave Parent Institute is not just, coaches helping parents, but mentorship. You know, like if you've been through it and you're just a chapter ahead, then let's make sure that we're reaching to whoever's a chapter behind and pull them up. Again, no parent left behind. And so Cathie, I would love for you to share today as well a little bit about your journey.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Connie. And that was awesome, Fiona. I haven't had a chance to meet with you yet, so that was really touching. I got shivers when you were talking, so thank you. And I just wanted to thank you, Connie, too, because back, when we first met, and I heard a little bit about this dream that you had. And it's just amazing to see that with a lot of hard work and effort and determination and connections, and here we are today, and here you are today, making this a reality and helping so many people. And with Connie's story, it was truly, there was an article in the Herald a few years ago, and my dad read the article and he was crying, and he drove to my house with this article, and he's like, you need to read this story. You need to meet this, whoever this person is. And it was, just remarkable to feel instantly like connected with someone who understood something really hard that you were going through. And so I looked up, Connie and tried to figure out who this person was and sent her an email, and the next thing you know, we met for coffee. And it was something life-changing to know that you're not actually fully alone and that you're not the first person to go through this. So thank you, Connie, for making this forum and making this a reality for so many people. And like, you know, my journey is kind of similar to yours and similar to Emily's, and I've really connected with Judy through the Brave Parenting Institute. And so for those of you who don't know, my husband and I have a 16-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son and 2 fur babies. And at about 4 years old, we started the journey of trying to figure out what was up with my son and if there was something more that we needed to be doing to support this little fireball. By age 8, he was kind of in the thick of dysregulation, bullying at school, talk of self-harm, conflict at home all the time. The knives got locked up and put away, calls to 911, all this really scary stuff was happening in our lives. And we were just desperate to get some answers, get a diagnosis, find out how do we support this kid and support our family. We invested in the private assessments. We went to the pediatrician and had a bunch of specialist appointments. One of them that forever marked us was, you know, there's nothing wrong with your son. This is your parenting. You know, there's something wrong with you guys. And kind of closed the door on that there was anything more to do with him. We even went so far as to invest in bringing the whole family to Seattle. We went to Amen clinics to get brain scans done to further understand what was going on. We had that done for my husband and my son so it wasn't all about him. It was kind of just a learning experience. And through all of that, you know, we did get the diagnosis. We got the anxiety, we got the ADHD, and yes, we have that information, but it's gone from a journey of diagnosis and seeking that kind of information to more self-discovery for me and finding out how I can be a better parent and be a better person and be more who I need to be. So my husband ended up leaving his job when my son went into grade 5 so he could homeschool. I think we were homeschooling the same year. We've also relocated our whole family just up and kind of moved in the middle of the night to find a safer place for us to feel like we could bring down roots and give ourselves a fresh start in a new community. And my son is in a new school now, a private school where he's been there for 3 years now, and he feels finally that he has the support that he needs to really flourish at school. But during these years, our entire focus of my husband and I has been on our kids and our family and making sure that we're in a place where everyone can flourish. I'm not sure that we personally were flourishing in those years because it was all about isolation and bringing ourselves close together, but we kind of cut ourselves off from so many other people. And like we've talked about, that, you know, these situations aren't something that you can talk to just anybody about. And like Fiona said, like not everyone really can relate to these stories that we're sharing. And so you're lonely and you're isolated and you further kind of retreat back into this, what feels like a safe place, but it's very lonely. We kind of cut out all social interactions so that we could eliminate that extra stress in our life where we knew things were going to get hard. We just kind of stopped. And so continuing with Connie and being part of this Brave Parenting Institute has really given me a place where I feel I'm understood, I'm supported, I'm encouraged, I'm connected with people who really understand. And through that, there's constant reminders and learnings and growth about, building new muscles to change your thinking patterns and to have some self-talk and to focus on connection, real connection, and self-care, real self-care. And so through all that, it's not just hearing about it. We're actually working through the hard nuggets to rewire our brain and to create new muscles and new skills. And maybe they're new rituals, because in a way I find that kind of healthy rituals, though, self-care rituals that we need to be maybe better people. I'm proud to say that we are rising through the storm, and we're in a really stable place right now, a place that I wasn't sure we would maybe ever get to, but we're here. And so with that, I haven't always felt I needed to join the weekly group meetings, and I've connected in on Facebook often, but I kind of feel like this is my safety net. This is my insurance plan. Like every good insurance plan, it's there when you need it. And I love that, knowing that when things change, and they do, that I have a place where I will be supported. And so through this group, I've developed muscles of like self-talk and reminding myself that when my family isn't coming the minute I say dinner's ready, come on, and no one's coming, it isn't that they're trying to tick me off or frustrate me. They're in their own space. They're doing their own thing, and it isn't about me. And I can self-talk myself in a different way now, instead of like, I do all this work and no one listens, and negative self-talk. I'm changing it to positive self-talk. And then I've shifted my expectations from expecting everyone to come and expecting the house to be perfect and expecting compliance to expecting I can get my needs met. I can go for a walk every day. I can find things to laugh at every day, and I can find those connections every day. My expectations are now around that, instead of the other things that actually don't matter all that much. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, and just thank you so much for this forum and this place to be safe.
Oh man, you're so welcome, Cathie. And I mean, I hope that you're encouraged by Cathie's story. I mean, like what I love is that we want people to get to the place where the Brave Parent Institute becomes a safety net, and not like the life, like holding on for dear life. Like that's the goal. And what I love about you, Cathie, is that, you know, you're kind of at a great place right now, and you're giving back. You're making relationships with other ladies, again, who are just a little bit behind you. They see you and they go, okay, there's hope. And so you're giving back, which I don't know about you, but I find that when you've got a breakthrough, if you share it, it almost solidifies more, and it grounds you more than if you just were like, okay, I'm good. Our family's good. We're out. Like there's so much beauty in being able to now help someone else. I think that that's a beautiful way to steward the gift that you've been given of health for your family. I love it. I love it, Cathie. And you're just a remarkable soul. I'm so glad we met, because I got in a lot of trouble for that Calgary Herald article. my psychologist called me up, and because they wrote it. Unfortunately, media will take some of the things you say and twist them a little bit. And it really made me look like I did not appreciate my psychologist. And so I got the call, like, how dare you? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't say that. So just a little free note to everybody. When you go to the media, don't trust them. They will they may not steward your story well. Yeah, but it was it's so true, right, Marika? Yes. But I'm glad I did it, because I got to meet you. I'm so glad. And there was a lot of people who benefited from it. So that's good. Man, I have loved hearing from both of you this morning, and reading the comments, and yeah, you're paving the way, Cathie. I love it. I love it. You know, it really hit me when you said you had a safe place, but it was lonely. And I think for all of us, you know, our natural instinct, I think as human beings, when we go through hard things, we turtle, we isolate, we close the door. And I read a really sobering report, actually. It's called Raising Canada. It's put out by the University of Calgary, and it was all about the state of where our children are at today. And Canada right now is number 25 in the world for child safety. That's meaning emotional, mental, physical. It's not just about abuse. It's about how are our kids feeling? Do they feel physically safe? Do they feel psychologically safe? Do they feel emotionally safe? And we are number 25 in the world. And that number shocked me when I heard that, because I thought we were doing pretty good. I mean, we're Canada. And Norway is number one. If you want to know who number one is, it's Norway. I wanted to know who's got this thing figured out then. But the reason why Canada is only number 25 is because of that statement. So much brokenness goes on behind closed doors. Nobody's talking about it. No, and as you have all shared very openly and agreed with, that it's not really appropriate to share some of the deep things that we go through as parents with just anybody, because there is a lot of judgment out there. I've joined some Facebook groups for parenting, and I've had to leave because it's either super negative, I hate my child, and everybody's like, yeah, me too. And I'm like, oh, we're okay with that. Like, or it's just complaining about the government. Yeah, the government does nothing. You know what? You know what I believe? And I'm gonna put out a bold statement for you, friends. And this is kind of where I'm coming from. I'm tired of depending on the government to solve problems. I believe that we solve problems. I believe that community solves problems. I believe that when everything else is failing, I believe that when we come together, I really believe in that Margaret Mead quote, that there is nothing that a small group of committed citizens cannot do. And I believe I'm just tired of waiting for government grants or things, mental health supports. You know, we are overloaded. And we're overloaded because, not because screens came on the scene, we're overloaded because we are in a state of brokenness as adults. And when we focus in here, and then we reach out our arms and we come together, what can we not do for our kids? I'm really putting the stake in the ground, and I'm calling parents to bravery, and I'm calling parents to courage, and I'm calling parents to come out of isolation. But I knew that when I was calling them, I was calling them out of isolation in these seminars, and then I realized that there was nowhere for them to go. Come out of isolation. Well, what if one of those parents dared tell a friend and they had a bad experience? And I thought, no, we have to create something where parents know that they could come. If they're going to come out of isolation, then they better come to a safe place. They better come to a place where there's healing and hope and actual evidence-based skills, counseling, things that I don't have. Gather the team, let's go, let's make a difference. And so I really do believe that I don't think that it's time to be waiting on the assessment for 2 years. I don't think it's time to be, I can't afford counseling. This is not okay with me. This is not okay with me. And just the experience that we've had together this week. What a sacred experience. Every time I read one of your posts, every time I listen to a story, I'm just so honored. I'm like, wow, this is important. People are finding hope. And I know that there's people who have been not posting, not because you're like, I'm not playing. You're like, no, I need to know that I'm safe here, or I'm not comfortable with posting. And that is okay. 100% okay. Because we're all at different places in our journey. But I would hope that everyone who's kind of just been even in observant mode this week has been able to find hope and healing from any little bit, the webinar, the stories, the postings, anything. I really, and your husband is isolated. Yeah, like even our men. I have a real heart for men. I like men. No, that's horrible. I like my husband, but I really feel like our men need help too. And it's often the women who will rise up to the plate, but where are the men? Like, we need the men, we need you. That's for free, everybody. I do have a draw for today. I put everybody's name in this. I couldn't believe it. This is my largest bowl, and it was being filled. And as I was looking through all the posts, I'm a woman of faith, and I said a prayer for every single one of you. As your name went in here, every single one, I just said, give them bravery, and I put your name in there. I spoke over you. Bravery and strength and courage and diligence and anything that you're needing today. And so I just want you to know that you're held. And I want you to know that you are deeply loved by us. We don't do a week-long challenge where we give up our time and give up our energy and our information just because we think, oh, like it's a good marketing thing. No, we do this because we really do care. And so I always want to offer you a chance to say, welcome home. If you need a home, if you need a safe place, if you need a place where you're needing help right now, maybe your child is suicidal or you're going through stuff that is really hard. Well, we are here. We're here. And there's no reason why your story can't be Cathie's story, why your story can't be Emily's story, why can't you succeed and see the dreams for your family, dreaming from the dirt, digging deep into the ground. There's no reason why that can't be you. And so what we've done is we've made this Brave Parent Institute accessible to everybody. Like I said, we have like the all access, right? If you want all access, if you want a monthly coaching session and you get 5 counseling sessions and you want to be a part of the crew, like that, of course, has a price to it. And we're going to be giving that away in a minute. But we also have it so that if you just wanted to join the Facebook group, it's just like this. What we've done, this is what our Facebook group is like. We post, we share, and it's a safe place and it's private and it's not seen by anybody else. And then we have weekly group coaching, which is just like this, except it's in a meeting form on Zoom. And if you're like, I need that, well, you know what? Right now, up until this point, we've been given it for $39 a month. That's less than a gym membership. You get all of that for that. And I'm going to put a link in the chat. And you might be like, man, I need this. I need this. And for 39 bucks a month, guys, I'm going to be boosting it up to 50 in the new year because we're pretty much giving this away. and it's because I know what it's like to be on the other side and not be able to get the help that I need. Now, I just want to clarify that monthly membership does not include the counseling and the coaching. Those are extra costs. Kind of like if you went to a gym, right? I got my gym membership. I get full access to the gym. I can take the classes, AKA the group coaching. But if I want a personal trainer, I got to hire them. The beautiful thing is that Shelley is so generous. She gives all of our members half-price counseling. She is such a gift. And our coaching is usually $150 a session. Our coaches do it for $55. So even our coaching is affordable. It's all affordable. And again, if you're in a real stuck place, you know, sometimes life hits you really hard, and poverty is a real passion of mine. I study poverty because I study resilience. And a lot of people who are impoverished are not the poor. They're people living off their line of credit and having to work 3 jobs just to make it. Now, those are realities. And trust me, in my mind, all I think is, how can we help those people without depending on the government? Like, that is where my mind is going. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, but I can offer you $39 a month. And I promise you, Emily, she only does the $39 a month. Cathie only does the $39 a month. But then there's the option of doing $175 a month, which gets you 5 counseling sessions. 5 counseling sessions. $175 is 1 counseling session. Plus you get all of the Facebook group, and you get the group coaching, and you get all the support, and you get a coach every single month who's going to walk you through all of the things that you're feeling. And we're not starting next week. We're starting a whole year program. It's a beautiful journey. It's a roadmap that's going to take you from where you are right now on your own path, on your own journey, and the whole year. By this time next year, you will have gone through our entire journey, and I promise you, you will not be the same. I know you won't be the same because we have put so much intention. What we've done here this week, what you have experienced and felt, and the tools you've been given, guys, that's 1% of what we have for you. This is nothing. Imagine a year process. Because for me, I realized that there's something about showing up for the long haul. I had to show up in my son's life for a year. I wasn't a new parent by Friday, but I had new things by Friday that kept me going to the next Friday and the next Friday and the next Friday. And soon all those Fridays turned into a year. And I looked back and I was like, wow, I am not the same person I used to be, and my family has come so far, and my son has changed too. We have experienced so much beauty. So there's hope for you. And if you're needing the hope, I want you to be intentional and reach out and get it. And if we are your help, great. And if we're not, please don't delay. Don't delay. Whatever has come up for you this week, promise me this, friends. Don't just leave it here. Whatever you do, put your name on a waiting list for something if you need to, but promise me that you'll make your family's health the priority. Please promise me you will do that, because your kids are worth it. My son is still here. He's still here because I sacrificed. I sacrificed for that year, and I still sacrifice. We still sacrifice, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So, all of that being said, let me bring up what our prizes are, because we have some amazing prizes. Who's excited for prizes? No one's excited for prizes. No one is excited. Okay, good. Kristen, Carla is excited for prizes. I'm shaking it up. Stephanie, woohoo! Yes, here we go. Whoops, I'm dropping them. Hang on. I'm getting so excited, I'm dropping them. All right. Okay, so this one is for a free 50-minute counseling session from Shelly. So this is free counseling and one of her free journals. So, dun, 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 let's see who it is. Carla Tancock, are you here, Carla? Sometimes, Carla, you win $1 million. No, I'm kidding. Oh my goodness, so that's wonderful. So you're gonna get a chance to meet with Shelly for 50 minutes and get one of her journals. So I will make sure that you get in contact with her. Now, every single time you posted, your name went in here. So some of you have more than one in here. So, all right, here we go. This one is for an extended coaching session of 2 hours in a breakthrough area of your choice with Kristen. Who does not want to get with Kristen after her session? Like, Kristen is one of those people, like, she's scary but safe, you know, like she goes silent and, oh no. All right, who is this? Nikki Bjorgen. Okay, now this is exciting. Now Nikki's not here right now because she works during the day. But what I'm gonna do, because I know her, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put her down, but if she denies it, if she's like, nah, no thanks, I don't want it, or she can't do it, or whatever, I will pull another name out and I will let you all know, okay? So I'm just gonna put this down for Kristen. Now, Kristen, just so you know, Nikki lives in BC, so it'll definitely be a Zoom call. All right, here we go. This one is for 2 health coaching sessions and 2 personal training sessions from Amanda, our personal trainer. Aha! Who wants to get their butt kicked? I do. Who is this? Rochelle Morris. Okay, now that she's another one that works. I was tempted to say you had to be here, but then I remembered that people work and that's not fair. So I'm just going to put personal training, but same thing. If she can't do it, I will be redrawing, or if she doesn't want it. If she doesn't want it, I'll take it. No, I'm just kidding. I'll draw somebody else. Okay. This prize is for 1 month free in our Brave Parent Institute. So you get 1 month for free. Plus I'm going to give you a copy of my book. And my friend wrote an amazing children's book, and you're going to get her book. So this is for 1 month free, my book and a children's book. You do need to order my book. It's on Amazon. It's called Bring Them Closer. There you go. All right. Let's see. Ooh, Teresa Johnson, TJ Johnson, are you here? I know she was there last night. Is she here? I'm like Oprah right now. You get a car, you get a book, you get a counseling session. Did I say car? No cars. No cars here. You can have my car, right? Little old Honda that barely works. Okay, I'm gonna write this down. And again, if she can't take it, then, you know, that's fine. All right, everyone, this is the big one, okay? This is the one. that is worth like $14,000 that we sell at $2,020 a year. This is the big one. All access counseling, 5 counseling sessions, once a month coaching, full access to our Brave Parent Institute. I am almost nervous. Okay, here we go. Sherilyn, all the way from Puerto Rico. I feel like doing some salsa. Do you do salsa down there? Oh my goodness. Sherilyn, you just hyped up my book and look what you get. Woo, Sherilyn, that is so exciting. Okay, awesome. And I'm so excited that it went to somebody in South America. Love it. Guys, I'm so happy. I'm so excited. I'm just thrilled for those of you who won, but those of you who didn't. Okay, I'm one of those people that I never win. Like when these things come up, I'm not the winner. But I want to just give you, if you would like, I'm going to post right here. This is the full access to our Brave Parent Institute. This is the counseling. This is the coaching. This is everything included, plus my 10-week boundary course, plus my connection course, plus my Bring Them Closer course, all of that right there. Now it's $2,000, but that's for the year. Think about it. It's for the year. So, and if you need a payment plan, we have a payment plan. Okay, we have a payment plan. But if you want, if you're like, no, that is way too much, there's no way I could do that. Again, just remember that we have $39 a month. $39 a month. We've got the group and the coaching. And guys, honestly, you will be blessed by it. We start next week. So what I need you to do is I need you to do this for me. We have 2 minutes left. I need you to sign up. If this is something that you're like, you know what, I need this. I don't want you to just like wait for a month. We start next week. We start our year-long journey next week. And guys, after the fall is gone and we've started this journey for the year, that price is never coming back again. It's going to go up to $50. So if you want in, I want you to take full access right now. Okay. If you're like, no, I'm good, then you know what? Thanks for coming for this week. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being brave and leaning in. And just when I said at the beginning of the week, I want you to invest. I want you to be fully engaged. I mean, you have shown up. And so I want to speak this over you one more time. I want to speak over you that you are brave. You can show up when it's hard. You can love without walls. You can forgive when it hurts. Guys, keep rising through the storm. Keep rising. What was that rise again, Fiona? It was rest. You are, oh shoot.
Rest. I am worth it, strong, and you are enough.
That's it right there. All right, guys. Well, oh, and there is homework. I have to tell you what we're doing with our Facebook group. So today, we want to keep it going. Today, where have you been trying to control? Would love to hear that about the rituals and the control. Where have you been trying to control? And what we're doing with the Facebook group is it will remain open. Unfortunately, our coach's attention and my attention will be highly more on our Brave Parent Institute private group. We just have to do that. But this group will change into a new challenge in a couple of months. And so stay tuned. If you want to stick around and join us for the next challenge. But again, the coaches, myself, we probably will not be very active on the group just because we give our full attention to our Brave Parent Institute. All of that, guys, be blessed. Keep going, stay brave. And I will be on today looking for your homework on the whole control thing. All right, guys, we'll see you soon.